1160 a.m. with a show called Building Knowledge with the Building and Realty Institute. It covers issues of interest to the building, realty, and construction industry. For 4 years, we had a show in New York City on AM 970 AM, on Talk Radio 77 WABC, and on 710 WORAM, which also covered issues of interest affecting the building, realty, and construction industry. That was named Constructive Conversations with the Building and Realty Institute.
Very niche. Very niche.
Thanks. The two radio shows have now been combined into a podcast. And as a tribute to the former WVOX, which does not exist any longer, we call it Building Knowledge with the Building and Realty Institute. We're using the same name, and we are on Apple and Spotify, and we're doing very well. Our producing company is Pod Populi, which is the largest producer of podcasts throughout the U.S. Our show, I'm happy to report, made Pod Populi's top 20. Pod Populi produces more than 300 shows. We made that company's top 20, so we're very, very happy about that. You can listen to it again on Apple, Spotify, and buildersinstitute.org.
Sounds like you cornered the market there for all the real estate podcasting.
We're doing well with it. I have to say I'm very, very happy with how it's going. And the Building and Realty Institute is also happy with how it's going. Our Chief Executive Officer, Tim Foley, is really happy with it, and we've worked very hard on these shows, and I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled about it.
That's it. Dad, you should go talk real estate with Jeff sometime on his show.
I'm so well versed in it.
You know, tonight, this is going to be fantastic tonight, because not only do I have, well, first of all, I just wanted to get you and Dad in the same room. Just because growing up, I think that it's a very important thing for kids to sit back and listen to the older people in the family to just talk. You pick up a lot of things, and you also pick up, body language and who's got chemistry and what's going on there, all that stuff. So I thought it was very important to get you guys in the same room on these microphones. My quest tonight is to try to trigger you and trigger memories however the hell I can, whether it be through music or I have family videos over here. I've also sourced a lot of information and some ideas from our cousins, Justin and Ashley. Mm-hmm. I was talking to them today, Anthony, for quite a bit. I've got some stuff we've got to do here, including I have some inside baseball even on Jeff too. But I want to ask you questions. All right. So it's going to be great stuff. I have a 1987 cruise that you guys did through town around Christmas time. I have to put that up on screen for a little while.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes, of course.
You're going to see it tonight. You're going back through time.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. A lot of things going on. Well, first thing I should say, because we're now only 2 weeks away from spring, springtime, very important. As far as music goes, let's start with that. What songs make you feel like spring is coming and or here already? What is it? Who wants to start?
I'll tell you the first. What is yours? Go ahead. You go first.
For many years, in the first few weeks of summer,
of course,
Cousin Anthony would bring out his album collection to his mom and dad's pool area. This man had an album collection.
700.
It was massive, massive, massive. But every year he brought out the album collection. The top album was an album from Ruby and the Romantics, Our Day Will Come. And from when I was a little boy, I remember that album sitting on the top of piles of albums. So eventually that became the song that introduced spring and summer. To this day, the first day of spring, we connect with each other and we play Our Day Will Come because it leads to so many wonderful memories and so many hopes we have for the upcoming spring and summer. Excuse me, I'm going to start to cry now.
That album was bought. There it is.
Yeah.
That album was bought at the Bandstand Record Shop on Main Street in Portchester.
North Main Street in Portchester, correct? Yes.
That's where I bought that album. And I bought it, believe it or not, Jeffrey, way after it was released, I think. I bought that like in the summer of 67, 68.
Yeah. I think it was released in '63 originally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you brought it a few years after. Yeah.
And there were certain
it came out 63.
Yeah, exactly. And also because Cousin Connie there was a song, Why Do Lovers, Our Day Will Come, there were Valentine's parties, there were all different theme parties. And that was one of the songs that was played at the Valentine's party downstairs in the cellar, because the cellar in my mother's house was ground zero for parties. Everybody's parties were there.
No question.
Jeff, you had birthday parties there too?
He didn't have birthday parties.
I didn't
there.
have birthday parties there, but I attended so many events. That room is filled with memories. My favorite being New Year's Eve, 1969.
Oh my God.
When 69 turned into 70, of course, the house was packed with people. There was an excitement. There was an energy. I will never forget that night. It was one of the great nights of my life. You remember that night, obviously.
I remember it very well, and I'm not putting a damper on it, but I'm going to add a flavor to what he's saying. My father, which we didn't know as kids, the adults knew, was dying.
In 69?
Yes, because that's when he had gone to the hospital in October. We were never told. We were given this false hope. That was why that party was so special. Because they wanted this big party. My father came home from the hospital, and it was 69 going into 70. I remember downstairs we had a black and white television set there for the countdown, and they did something interesting just before 12. Do you remember they showed different radios going back, coming forward from old-fashioned radios to the most current radios and all of a sudden it was 1970.
One of the great promotional pieces of all time. I will never forget that promotional piece. And when I had a show at Talk Radio 77 WABC, I begged them, please find that tape. They couldn't find it, but I do remember.
The tape of these radios?
Yeah, it was a promotional piece, maybe 3 minutes before the year switched from 69 to 70.
You remember that?
Yes, and it showed radios from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s.
I could see
how
it.
radio progressed through those decades. I get chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But, okay, so wait a second. Maybe I can find this.
I don't even know what network it was. It probably was Channel 2, because you have to understand, we were watching Guy Lombardo.
Right. Okay. So then, wait. So this would be New Year's
1969 going into 70.
That's right.
1969. Guy Lombardo.
Definitely CBS Channel 2. Guy Lombardo was a must.
All right.
Absolutely.
So
and it was all ancient people at the Waldorf Astoria dancing.
I mean, I found over here. I have the countdown from 69 to 70, but it's only 16 seconds long.
What is it? I'll drop dead.
Hold on, wait a second. It's not going to be
It's not going to be that piece. It's the countdown just to midnight itself, correct?
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Oh my God.
Wait.
Oh my God.
I think so. It might be. Let me get this up on the screen. Here we go.
Oh my.
Oh, it's
goodness.
There's no sound.
That's when the ball was the ball. Look at them. Look at these people. Look at the balloons.
I got. That's something else right there. So 1969 to 70. And Jeff, how old were you at that point?
Well, let's see. I would have been exactly 10 years old.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
then I was 15.
I had New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve has always been one of those things where, from when I started remembering them, they were always very emotional. They went from confusing to then emotional. All the women were always weeping.
Everyone was crying.
It was fun for the kids because we got to run out with the pots and the pans. We had the pots and the pans, and that was great.
That was awesome.
But all the women were inside weeping, and we didn't understand why.
Everyone was crying.
Yes.
It was who died, who's going to die, who's sick, who might die, who's leaving, who did it. And people at 12 o'clock, we were coming out of a submarine that made it back to surface, were screaming at 12 o'clock with streaming tears. We made it! We made it! We made it!
I remember those phrases. I remember this being thrown around.
Totally inaccurate description.
Oh my gosh.
Crying. This is why I can't with New Year's Eve. It's not I don't like it because we knew it only as crying.
Oh man. Okay, so then there's spring. Spring led us to New Year's Eve. What about okay, here's another big one.
Go ahead.
4th of July. Music Association for 4th of July.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Archie Bell and the Drells.
Tighten
Archie
up.
Bell and the Drells. Tighten up.
Tighten up, Archie Bell and the Drells. Our Aunt Roseanne, one of Aunt Roseanne's favorite songs.
Yes.
Aunt Rose, the 60s or the 70s?
Yes. If you have to take one, you have to leave the other one behind.
It's got to be the 60s for me.
It's got to be the 60s.
Got to be the 60s. Classic stuff.
And the transition. We were starting the 60s with Connie Francis, Lipstick on Your Collar. And you had all of the locomotion, Little Eva. You had the beginning part of the 60s. But then President Kennedy died. And in that February, the world changed completely. The Beatles, forget it.
And that's not an exaggeration. He's being totally accurate on that.
The world changed forever.
I was 4 years old in February of 1964, and I vividly remember the atmosphere about the Eagles, about the Beatles, and the thrills and the excitement of people, and going to the Capitol Theater, not the Capitol Theater,
the
Embassy Theater in Portchester to see A Hard Day's Night with teenage girls screaming as much as you could.
And that's where the famous phrase came up, where my sister Pamela, who has a very low voice, was trying to scream, and she was going, oh, because she didn't have a high voice. And there was a black woman sitting next to me saying, I don't know why my dog don't scream like the others. I don't know why my dog don't scream like the others. And we use that phrase over and over again. Plus, there's a scene in A Hard Day's Night where you see all of the screaming girls in the balcony. We were convinced it was in the Embassy Theater as we were watching the movie.
Like it was live? You guys were being roped in?
I wore horn-rimmed glasses. And I shook my head and they fell 14 rows down. We couldn't find my glasses. They fell off. I went like this. They fell off. We were all there like it was a concert. It was the most exciting thing.
It can't be described. We went to the World's Fair several times that year, and our cousins were waiting online, and they would break out into Beatles song after Beatles song.
We heard, If I Fell in Love with You. It was Connie and Diane. They sang it in harmony, literally, and they sounded beautiful, don't get me wrong, ad nauseum for 4.5 hours through the World's Fair. They kept on singing it over. That was also the World's Fair where Jeffrey lost his shoes.
I have two things for here. I have two little notes here, and both of these came by way of your sister, my cousin, I think Justin or Ashley gave this to me. She said, hey, here's two funny things about Jeff from my mother. The first one is, Jeff once walked through the World's Fair without shoes the whole time, and nobody knew until they left. Is this what happened?
Totally accurate.
It's totally accurate, but it wasn't until they left.
No, it wasn't
It
until
was
then.
that woman.
What happened was we were walking and I walked out of my shoes and I was very shy at that point. And I was embarrassed to say, stop, my shoes are behind me. So my grandma Rose was to my left and I kept walking and walking. So finally, this gentleman, or was it a lady?
It was a lady.
It was a lady came up to Grandma Rose and said, ma'am, your little boy walked out of his shoes. They're all the way back there. So that is absolutely
That's
a
true.
true story.
That's great. And was this the one in Flushing, Queens? Where was this?
Yeah. Right near Shea Stadium, the old Shea
We
Stadium.
didn't go once. We went several times.
Oh, it was a big event.
30 people, a full family, several times.
That was a lot more common back then there too. Entire family trees going together to
Absolutely.
events.
Well, what about you have to understand, Playland, we had a night in Playland. Everyone, I'm telling you, the entire family, including my grandmother and grandfather, I could see him. I'm going to start crying. I could see my grandfather jump. I don't even know how they allowed it. He jumped over the fence to get on the turtle chase with us. And he got on the turtle chase. We were there all night, and then we'd go back down to their house, and we would have pizza and beer. All of us. He'd buy pizza with a legion on it, which is anchovies.
Yeah.
In Italian.
That's my favorite. I like a liege.
He jumped at Playland. He jumped onto that ride. He must have been 69, 70.
Easily. With a cigar in his mouth.
Yeah.
Always. Never took out of his mouth.
And I remember when he did it, you yelled, he's younger than all of you, because people were saying, stop that man. And you yelled, he's younger than all of you.
But wait, I have, hold on. I have something over here. I think I actually have footage of great grandpa jumping into a kiddie pool with a cigar in his mouth.
Oh, good.
Hold on a second.
Yes, you do.
I have a lot of things here. Let me see. Now, all right. This has no
Okay,
sound.
this is interesting because that's my Aunt Joni, Jeffrey's mother, with Debbie.
She's
His
carrying my
sister.
sister. She's carrying my sister, Debbie. Okay. Wow.
That was after her christening.
Wow.
I think it's coming up next. I don't want to jump ahead too far.
That's our church. That was our parish.
That's Holy Rosary in Portchester. Yeah.
Good color with this.
Look at that
look at
car.
the-
That's Grandpa's car. That's Grandpa's
What's it?
car.
There's Grandma Rose.
All right, here comes the pool scene. Here comes the pool scene. It's at this barbecue, whatever this is.
Yes.
This is in the backyard. There's
This
our
could-
Uncle Jimmy.
This could be for the christening. I'm not sure.
There's the barbecue.
There's my mother. There's Rose. There's Mary. There's Patty.
That's Cousin Patty.
We'll go.
Hi, Patty.
Oh, here we go. All right, there's the cigar.
Here we go.
And here's the kiddie pool.
Yeah, they're going to all jump in the pool. This is the kind of thing that always happened at our events. Always.
They're daring each other.
Oh, my.
Who wants to go in that water now with his dirty feet?
What year is
Look at
this?
him, cigar in his mouth.
What year is this?
This has got to be in the 50s.
Late 50s, probably. Yeah.
You got to understand, my grandfather had his
This cigar is soaked.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
There's Al.
Look at him. He's even saying it, my cigar.
Is that Uncle Ray behind Grandpa?
No, that's the guy from now. What's his name? Tony. What's her name? Marcelin's husband.
Oh, Tony Genovese.
Tony Genovese.
Wow, these are full dives. These, oh, here.
Oh,
Wait, hold on.
he does a full dive. He doesn't care. This was
here we go.
our
Oh, no.
family.
Here.
Look.
Whoa. Wow. I mean, he doesn't care. Wow.
This happened every time we got together. People would come in the backyard at Grandma's house up when we had the pool, and they would just literally jump, throw people in. Watermelons would come from the side of pools. People would come out in 1920s outfits that they put together.
They were events. No question.
I
They were events.
I'm just happy. See, here's the crazy thing. I'm happy. I always was happy that I had, and I've become a little bit of a family archivist at this point because everything that has been found, I have digitized, and I'm still slowly not only labeling for accurate years, but also just keywords of things that happen in each one. And it's been really awesome to see this come together for both sides of the family. Like I have a lot from mom's side and a lot from your side too. But to think that Aurora, and she requests watching these videos.
Really?
She likes from time to time. She wants to watch videos, and the fact that she's able to sit down and view her great grandparents twice great or 3 times great. I don't know, but the fact that she can watch these people young and know that is that's your ancestry. It's just incredible.
It's also the fact that she's coming from a family of mental archivists. There are a few of us, but I gotta say, Jody too, I have to say, is pretty good with
Cousin Jody.
But Jeffrey and I are like the 2 wizard gods of this that we remember, and it's because we feel we must.
Oracles. Yeah. Well, this is why I want to do shows like this every once in a while, just because it's part of all this stuff over here. I have and we're gonna get around to some more video, but I have another little tidbit about Jeff over here.
All right.
The second one that came my way today is that when Jeff was 8 and went to his first confession, he couldn't think of any sins that he committed, so he told the priest that he committed adultery, even though he didn't know what it meant.
I think I remember that.
That is very true. That is very true. I couldn't think which sin to list, and I just picked one, even though I didn't know what the heck it meant.
It's like it was a commandment, and I broke it.
At 8 years old.
When I read that. When that came to me today, I started cracking up. That's just fantastic.
I remember that now that you say it.
Oh my gosh, there's just so much. Okay, well then let's get back to music then. We went to 4th of July. I know that this day was always very important because I was around for many of them in the 90s, and I know that there's traditions all over the place, but even Labor Day.
Oh, God.
Okay, end of the summer. Tell me about Labor Day, because aside from the music, I want to know about that. I always remember you and Jeff bringing out the teapot or the coffee pot, or there's like something about...
Tell them how that happened.
What?
Where that teapot thing...
We were cleaning up after one really big barbecue at Anthony's mom's house, okay? And so we made coffee and we brought it out, and then it was time to clean up. And so Anthony brings back the tray of coffee and the teapot into the kitchen, and Marianne, for some reason, brought it back out again. Anthony took it, brought it back into the kitchen.
My mom brought it out?
Yes, that's my memory. And it went back and forth, and finally Anthony said, "What are we doing? Are we going to keep this in or out?" So that became a barbecue tradition where I would enter the barbecue with the tray and the teapot to mark that it was another family barbecue.
Okay, now I'm going to say something.
But it's not just another family barbecue. It was specifically Labor Day. It only happened on Labor Day.
Yeah, it was. So I'm going to say we're not going to know when. It's got to happen sometime in this year where that happens again.
Okay.
I don't know when it's going to happen. From either one of us doing it, somebody has to appear with that pot on a tray.
There are photos. There are photos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are many photos of one of us.
It was the metal kettle, too,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
With the black plastic handle. I remember that a lot.
Yeah.
So Labor Day music. Is there anything that Labor Day music gets you? Or
Well, first of all, we're going to go. The thing to remember about Labor Day was Jerry Lewis.
That's right.
God. Marathon.
Yeah.
The telethon was something that was synonymous with our family, and Jeffrey's mother always yelling at Jerry Lewis, "God, stop, yeah," because every time he cried when she claimed he's not crying, what? Stop. Stop.
He
Just
would sing "You'll Never Walk Alone" at
Just
the end of the
sing it.
telethon.
And for some reason, because I would get hysterical from crying at everything, I still do. I don't know how I've got a ball in my throat since this show started. I don't even know how I'm talking.
Yeah, it's very emotional. There's
very
no question
hard for
about
me.
it.
And his mother would always say, "It's all right, Anthony. Come on, let's go." Like a boy. I don't even know what the hell she was talking about.
Mom, you're going to have to speak into a microphone if you're going to speak.
Talk.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
We hear you.
Do you remember the time you called in just to talk to Connie Francis?
Oh, yes.
Did
I called in Connie, just talk to Connie Francis.
you called into the telethon?
I called into a telephone to see if I could talk. I don't think I got to her.
Yeah, but did you get to a celebrity?
Yes.
Couldn't have
No, I
been.
did.
Who?
It was Connie Francis.
You spoke to Connie Francis?
Yes.
Because you can request who you got?
Yes.
So how long did you wait for that?
Oh
'Cause
my
that's,
God!
That's
it was
a national.
ridiculous.
That was a national telethon.
I'm trying to remember. Was it the tele? I don't know if it was the telethon.
But that telethon is not national, so it is national, I should say. So that would have been a lot of people trying to call that one person.
Well, you have to understand. Whenever you talk to her, and we had talked to her a couple of times, we'd seen her. We were Connie Francis freaks. We would run after her. We ran to see her. We
Lincoln
saw her.
Center, we saw her come out with her father.
Yeah, we saw her come out at Lincoln Center with her Dad, get Joey's coat on. It was like we couldn't believe it. But then we went up to see her up in Wallington, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And we went up to the window and just to tell her, Connie, we loved you. And she sounded like a jack in the box. You didn't even see her mouth move. Thank you. She didn't even move her face.
Jack in the Box.
But it was the same thing. Like when I mean Jack in the Box, there was that food place called Jack in the Box.
Oh, yeah.
It was, and you could talk into the Jack's face
With the fixed smile.
So he talk like that, and that's what it was like. But I did talk to her. I said, "Connie, you want to? Oh, yeah, good, very good." She didn't say much to me, but I did get through
On a
to her.
telethon.
Yeah.
Jeff, did you ever call into a telethon and get a celebrity?
Frank, I don't think I ever have. I don't think I ever have.
Were you as big of a Judy Garland fan as my mom and dad?
Not as big as your mom and dad, but I still feel that Judy Garland is the greatest female entertainer of all time.
Bravo.
Absolutely, no question about it. The woman was just talented beyond belief.
She
And
was
the-
a genius.
And the more I hear her sing and the more I see her perform, I think she was somewhat underrated. I really believe that she was brilliant.
As much as she's so revered, I understand what you're saying, because you have to understand, under the influence of drugs toward the end of her career, from like the 60s, 61, she should have been dead. She'd already been in the hospital. They told her she'd never sing again. Her greatest singing was in those early 60s when she was physically not right at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an amazing.
When she had her own show, when she had her
Yes.
own variety show, she was
Jeff, can you
awesome.
can you scoot over just a little bit this way? Just
Sure.
yeah, there you go. You're just totally behind the micro. There you go. Okay, so then let's stick around there a little bit. A lot of people wrote in with some questions that they'd love to see you guys talk about. One was about favorite candies, sodas, snacks that you used to eat but weren't sold anymore, that aren't sold anymore now. Like it's something that back in the day, is there anything that something that you look forward to at the ice cream truck, or something that you really liked that really dates? It's very dated.
Well, I don't think they have toasted almond anymore.
Toasted almond what?
Toasted almond ice cream.
Good
Yeah, they
humor.
do.
Good humor.
They do.
They do? I
They-
thought that was finished.
No, they have the strawberry shortcake. I just had the strawberry shortcake tonight with Aurora.
Wow.
But they have the toasted almond and they have the chocolate eclair still.
They do?
I
thought toasted almond was gone.
well, if they got rid of it, I was still having it well into the 2000s. So it must have been just a recent.
all right. I can say one thing. The Metropolitan Square cake from Entenmann's.
Oh, I remember that.
We can't.
No, you can't.
Doesn't
You're right.
exist.
You can't find that anymore.
Doesn't
That's a good
exist.
point. That's a
Okay.
good point.
All right, so then here
The
you go.
blackout cake is gone.
You see, with Metro. Okay, so then the next thing I wanted to ask you guys about was smells. Somebody out there, a good friend of the show, John, wanted to know what smells in particular inspire nostalgia and emotion for you guys. And when you brought up, so I'm going to leave that to you guys in a second, but when you brought up the Metropolitan cake with Entenmann's, that's one of those things that actually leads me to other smells. So I can smell the icing, the frosting. I can taste the raspberry swirl on the top. I can taste the coconut flakes, all of that stuff. But I can also smell the breeze coming in from the side porch door at Grandma's house during the summertime. I could, whatever the hell, whether it was tea or coffee being brewed, something that it was, and the crickets in August.
The crickets.
Yeah. So
which we loved and yet never wanted to hear because we knew it was the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Very true.
So
the smell of the breeze with the hint of chlorine in the breeze from the pool.
Wow, I hadn't thought of that.
The clean smell of chlorine. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we called it Weeky-watchy time.
Wishy-washy.
Because the pool, the light were slashes of light that made it look like we were in Hawaii. I felt like we truly were in Hawaii at that time of the day with the pool.
With the sunlight at dusk cutting through the leaves.
Yes.
And it just kind of spotted the pool in sunlight.
Remember, Marianne, what was the name of that song? It sounded like it was sort of a Asian sound. What was that famous song from the 60s? What is it?
Sukiyaki?
And the kid that died, drowned. Go ahead, say it. Tell that story.
Sukiyaki?
Say it.
What?
At Oakland Beach.
Happened to be playing at the beach when this boy died. I must have been about 7 or 8. I went to the beach with my sister.
You got to talk into that louder.
I went to the beach with my sister and her friend and my girlfriend. Now I've known each other since we were 7 or 8, Joanne. And this boy died, and Sukiyaki was playing in the background.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Wait.
And when I hear it today, I still get chills.
But you see, she brought up a very good point. And Jeffrey and I talked about this, or was it Jane today that I talked to, that these songs were our videos because our memories are not where some people will hear a song and they think of a video like Every Breath You Take. You think of Sting's video with all the candles and it. We hear these songs, we have got multitudes of images from when we heard them first.
It's an interesting memory storage. It is a very interesting thing. It almost makes you. I mean, even though it's been so great, and there's so many classic music videos. You think about what the music does for people's memory. I mean, especially when you're with, for example, dementia patients. I mean, when toward the end of Grandma's life, I spent a lot of time with her for the last few years of her life, and even on her more incoherent days, music stayed.
Oh yes,
music
she
stayed.
went right to the music. Right, and I'll tell you something. I knew when Grandma was, I didn't know how much longer it would be, was the last Halloween when she wasn't singing Jack-o'-lantern.
No, yeah, that's. Well, see, this is what I'm talking about. So, and that's interesting how one sense leads to the other sense. From smell to sound and all that. Well, Jeff, how about you with any kind of smells, fragrances in particular that'll always inspire some kind of nostalgia?
The aroma of grilled hot dogs always takes me back to the barbecues we had at our grandma and grandpa's and at Anthony's house. Okay, those wonderful barbecues, absolutely. And another aroma, Frank, marshmallows being roasted over the grill and the marshmallows being burnt always takes me back to those classic barbecues, whether it be Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, or just any barbecue commemorating whatever event it was. Always takes me back.
Yeah.
The distant sound of fireworks, random, up, right in the backyard.
Just crackling.
Later at night, we've gone through the 4th of July. It's the remaining people that are there. We're having a cup of coffee. Maybe I'm dying for potato salad. We're having a little bit more potato salad, baked beans. It's that remaining thing. Pam Mutino's cake, flag cake. We're having a piece of that. You can't replace the memories. You can't. That's why now, not that the holidays are not good, you have to make new things. They're so indelible. Our memories are so indelible. And you saw people jumping in a small little pool. That kind of stuff, literally, when I said it, it's the truth. It happened all the time. We were a family of entertainers.
It's very true.
Everybody was doing something to make somebody laugh. We didn't know what was going to happen next. Somebody came around the corner and did a cannonball in the pool. Or somebody came out with a weird outfit on. Or grandma with a knife start doing a dance.
I was just thinking that. That's so true.
Sing it, zing, 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 sing it, zing.
There's also something there's a few other things I have to do here tonight, media wise, and it's about 20 to 10. So I got to start doing it soon, or else we're going to run out of time. But Jeff, you in particular, I know my father doesn't have a lot of experience at the ballpark, but what about you in Yankee Stadium? What's the first game you ever went to?
Oh my goodness, it's a day I'll never forget. June 8th, 1969. It was the day that the New York Yankees retired the number of Mickey Mantle.
You were at Mickey Mantle Day.
Right. The day they officially retired his number, and my Uncle Ray took me and cousin Jody and several other family members went with us. And my Uncle Ray said he will never forget the look on my face when I walked up the ramp leading to the area behind home plate, and I looked up and saw the massive original Yankee Stadium.
One.
The original Yankee Stadium. There were no luxury boxes. There were no suites. There were no Hard Rock cafes. It was baseball. And that's why you went, and it was beautiful. But my Uncle Ray, I will never forget him telling me that he would never forget the look on my face when I saw the original Yankee Stadium for the first time and seeing all those great Yankees like Joe DiMaggio, Phil Rizzuto, I can go on and on, Yogi Berra, all of them coming to Yankee Stadium for Mickey Mantle Day. It was just absolutely unbelievable. Great memory.
I love the pictures there of that stadium. I really, really love it.
It was a great stadium.
Yeah, I do. I love it so much.
September 30th, 1973 was the final game at that stadium. I was there with my family. I walked out in tears. I would have been, 14? I think I was 14 years old. Yeah, I'll never forget that. So many memories there.
That was 1969?
Mickey Mantle Day was June 8th, 1969. The final game at the original Yankee Stadium was September 30th, 1973.
Hold on. Here's 1969. June 8th, 1969. Let me...
There it is.
So you're there, you're there now.
Absolutely. We were about 6 rows behind home plate.
With Mickey, Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra, and names that
I want to get pictures of the stadium.
The
area
There it is.
Oh,
between second base and the pitcher's mound, and our master of ceremonies to mark this high moment in Yankee history, the Yankee announcer, Frank Messer.
Okay, well, here, this is the most
One of the
replay.
all-time Yankee greats, the magnificent Yankee, the great number 7, Mickey Mantle.
You're screaming. You're screaming right
The
now.
fans did not stop cheering at this point for 17 straight minutes, and Frank Messer, the Yankee announcer, and other Yankee officials said, we have to go on with the program, and they cheered louder, and they cheered louder, and my Uncle Ray was timing it. He was timing it. Oh, it's now 11 minutes. It's now 13 minutes. They never stopped cheering number 7, Mickey Mantle, who, by the way, was the first baseball player I ever saw, because I saw a vision of him in the 1964 World Series at my grandma and grandpa's house on their black and white TV, and I fell in love with baseball at that point.
Look at them. Look, they're just waiting.
President of the New York Yankees, Michael.
They're just waiting. Yeah. Hey, look, they're trying to shut everybody up.
They didn't stop.
I just skipped ahead at least 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, they're just.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Wow, that's incredible. I didn't know that. I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I asked.
That was a great day. That was a great day.
Okay, so listen, let's just go to 1987, shall we? I watched this for the first time about a year or two ago when it started becoming really, really easy to watch all this stuff. But you guys, it says January 1st, 1988, but I don't believe it, because the dates on the VHS on the camera were always screwed up. So what do you know about this, Dad? Was it January 1st or was it just after?
Oh, I don't even know what this is.
Hold on.
It's a January 1st
Of
88.
what would you call this?
Hold on.
Christmas Odyssey 1987.
We were down Fox Island. You were obviously sleeping, and so was Anthony. So we went out. Me and Jeffrey went out.
We made a tour of our hometowns.
Yeah.
A holiday tour.
And it was all impromptu.
I have some timestamps, but here's the beginning.
That seems, as good as anything. I guess to start with, we're pulling back here as we leave the pavilion area, as we see
The pavilion.
illustrious lights of 54, and also bombs exploding, the excitement,
I know.
and the
That was one of those stupid things.
Oh, that was a road rage thing.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't know
my
where
God,
we,
I forgot
oh my
about
God,
those.
things.
So
Oh,
here is a drive through Main Street. This is around. Was this 4?
This is hysterical.
Hold on. Is this 4 minutes? This should be about 4 minutes. All right, here we go.
Wait a minute, let me get a hold of this. It's something simple. It's something which says could only afford one bush to be done at Pathmark, and this is just something wonderful.
And as you continue on your right, you'll notice the newly renovated Scopolette.
And it is painted red,
Scopolette
as
was
it's supposed
still
to be.
off.
Okay,
Those Malikas.
known throughout Portchester and its vicinity, and of course. We salute you, Rose Delfino,
Wherever
and
you are.
all that we
Oh my
love
God, she
at
was still
Delfino.
there.
There's a super family favorite, Tam's Lunch.
Tam's Lunch,
Oh,
which
this is North Main Street.
you can almost hear the ghosts
South.
of the past
That's right. Right there.
just standing there.
Now here's
Here's
where I
the
start to get
center.
excited. If you notice on your far left-hand side, the incredible Christmas tree on this apartment complex coming up. It's mind-boggling.
Okay, we're looking for this. This is something that... Oh! Bravo! Bravo.
Not one, but two, if you'll notice on the firehouse.
And
That's
let's
no
see.
longer there.
That's no longer there. That's
Now,
right.
I remember all these decorations on the and I missed that firehouse. I never got to
that
go
should
inside.
have never been knocked down.
No, it's terrible that it got knocked down. I've never been. I don't think I was ever inside of it. And
It was such a historical place.
a lot of that's happening around here. But here, take a listen to this.
Sorry, Frank. The door is not open.
What did I always like when the doors are open or something?
Yeah. Yes, and I didn't know that until I remember it now. You used to like when the doors were open because you could see the fire trucks.
Jack's Fabrics, the lighting company.
Jack's
and of course,
Fabrics.
as we've had in all our tours, we have Mrs. Allen's shop.
That's right.
Mrs. Allen! Oh my God!
What?
Oh my God!
What?
Mrs. Allen! Didn't she live on Foxhole?
She did. She was one of Grandma and Grandpa's tenants.
She was one of the tenants for our grandmother. She had a shop. Mrs. Allen.
Mrs. Allen. We
She had a
haven't thought of her.
clothing store.
This is the first time you thought of her in decades?
years.
Oh, long time. Absolutely.
I can't believe
That's something. Wow.
And you can just get a quick glimpse now, but we will be back
Coming
later.
back for the tree.
it. Look at that
We don't want to
tree.
blind you with too much all at once. As we come toward an area of Portchester that's known, let's look toward the insides of Texas. Right here
Texas
at Kaplan's
lunch.
window, where
What I wouldn't
Let's see what
give
they have.
for
Let's
some
look-
of that chili.
Great chili.
You were talking about Hubba's. What it used to be Texas.
Texas
yeah.
hot lunch.
Yeah. And became.
Millie.
Great stuff.
And here's
Absolutely.
here's Kaplan's, I think.
let's get out of the car for a second. Oh, don't let it fool you. This is not a gigantic, large tree, but it's sitting in the window. It's a miniature near the selections of their lovely step, which is known, their step of all their clothes. And as you come over to this side of the window, what do we have here? What is that?
What is it?
These are what every modern man wants. 2 packages with 2 ties on the outside of the box.
What every modern.
What more could you ask for?
But wait, no, wait. Here's what I'm thinking when I watch this stuff, especially pieces like this, because I think there's a lot of people out there who have done stuff like this over the course of these years, getting your VHS camera, going out now because it was a very special thing. Hey, let's go out and film the town or whatever.
Exactly.
Everybody has cinema quality photography equipment in their pockets right now. Nobody does this.
It's unbelievable.
Because why? Why? The
That's a good
novelty is
question.
the novelty is gone.
Yeah.
Nobody has any even
Life's different. Because if you were going to be, I'll tell you something else. January 1st, we were there. January 1st at our grandmother's house. What happens on January 1st now? Where's everybody? They're not together. They're not celebrating that it's New Year's Day. Let's have macaroni. Let's get together. We're going to all get together, right? What are we going to do for New Year's? It's gone. For the most part, for a lot of people, we still try to pull it all together.
I work very hard at it.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, this was what you did. I always say it. We had New Year's Eve. We went home and got freshened up. We came back down and we made more macaroni, and they were still playing cards, and we were still praying, and they said it was going to snow. Maybe there's not going to be school the next day. We didn't want it to be school.
January 2nd, you went back to school?
Of course.
Oh, yeah. You went right back the day after the holiday. Yeah.
That's
And you had to have your reports done because the midterms were starting.
That's right.
it sucked. Sucked
This
a
That
lot.
is
wasn't
when I
fun.
got out my mother's brown eyeshadow under my eyes and put the thermometer on the radiator. And then my mother came upstairs and she went, "You're fine. It's 105. You're going to school tomorrow."
Is that because she knew what you did, or she just didn't care?
I put the thermometer
On the radiator.
and it went to 105.
But did she assume that you did that, or did she?
She knew.
Okay.
Of course she knew.
Oh,
That's why
you're the-
she went, "Oh, it's 105. You'll be okay."
Okay, so let me see here. We've got
Here comes the kitty again.
on the 12-minute. Everybody keeps asking for Pyretta.
Pyretta. She's right here. Should give her a little time.
Hold on, let me get Anthony back up there. Hold on a second. Boom. And boom. Okay, so Anthony and Pyretta are over there. All right, 12-minute mark. There are a couple of there's a couple of things of Christmas lights, and then you guys are going onto the other side of town where Woolworths and the theater is.
Oh, good.
Okay, so here you go. And let's see here.
Christmas, Christmas. Next year, swans. Johnny Mathis and Plastic Choir Boys. This is Christmas in Portchester.
I think
And if you notice on your far left, as we speed up a bit just to get the picture, sir,
Wait.
the flashing dial.
you don't even see these kind of lights anymore.
No, they're all. First of all, they're all incandescent.
Yes.
On their way to
Abramson's Pharmacy.
purchase these hair designs.
And Catherine Hayes, custom cleaner.
All of them part of the season. All of them part of the tradition that has become Portchester.
Okay, so here you go.
Oh my God.
Take a look at this.
All strung by Portchester's finest. Littered with glow.
Listen to the song that's
Littered
on.
with litter.
We got heart in the
Look at
background.
this line at the movie theater for Throw Mama from the Train. That new hit movie.
Is that really what's there?
It's I think
Yeah.
it's Throw Mama from the Train, but I also think that Moonstruck is.
Oh.
I think Moonstruck is there too.
That's the
my-
old Rye Ridge Theater.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
Wouldn't Moonstruck be out at that point at 87, 88?
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds
I'll
right.
tell you why. We went to go see Moonstruck on Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay, so then take a look because you're going to see some of the posters outside of the theater that's no longer there. And hold on, that's not
Which
it.
is now Chipotle.
It's Chipotle now. Here you go.
This theater.
is what we're trying to say. Portchester is up and coming. The people are going in droves. And now we approach
Look, isn't that Moonstruck?
Yes.
two holiday movies.
You're right.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
remember the
what I
upcoming
wouldn't do for
moves.
that poster.
Yeah, they probably threw it right out.
Of course they did.
They had frames of the upcoming
Do
films.
you know that we saw the Music Man with Jeffrey's mother marching outside?
I remember.
Right after the movie, we had bags of our Easter candy we bought to the movies to see Mary Poppins.
Very true.
There we go. A couple more of this. Hold on.
Throw Mama from the Train, a holiday tradition in Portchester. Unfortunately, it's sometimes real. Take an extra 20% off this. And you can have this
Is
lovely
that
outfit.
Rose with
Either
Dusty
one.
Rose?
Wait.
Dr.
Need a
Sudby?
dentist?
Louis Morrow, DDS,
Oh, no.
is my best friend.
Please.
How
Louis
is
Morrow,
he?
DDS, is my best friend. He is now retired in Scottsdale, Arizona.
How old is he?
He's my age. Okay, we're not going to say what the age is.
Oh
but
wait. Okay, so then he was your peer. At
he
that
was
point?
my. He was.
Yeah,
we
he was
met when I was
friends.
freshmen at Rye High School. He lived down the street from us.
Well, good for
We were
him.
best friends from age 14 all the way through our adult years. He eventually introduced me to the lady I would marry and eventually have 3 children with. So there was his office, Louis Morrow, DDS. That's crazy.
I have one more timestamp on this night. I'm sure there's a lot more, but at the 17-minute 20-second mark, you go back into the center of town and you get to see as it was prior to, of course, now the waterfront is all there and all that shit.
All that stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that's not even occupied. And here, take a look at this. By the way, this is about a half a block away from the studio.
Yes.
As always, we will.
That's Macondo.
As we pass the Macondo. As we
Oh no, listen to the song they're playing.
That's a heartbreaking choice of music for the good
Oh
times.
my God.
By Ray Price. Oh wow.
You know, as horrible as it looks, it's our hometown.
Yeah, but look how classic
Look at the tree.
I'm telling you, I forget what this place looks
Show
like.
us your feeling for Portchester.
Hold on.
And this says it all, doesn't it? As you wait there in the car, as we look out.
Look, it looks like old country saloons.
that's what it was like. There were saloons
It
there.
had such a hometown positive feel to it.
A Happy New Year.
Worcester was great.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah, well, there's so I mean that's one thing I got for you. There's a few things that also was sent in over here. Dad, this one is for you. Also, like I said, I sourced a lot of notes from our cousins Ashley and Justin tonight.
Yeah.
But I know Jeff was there for all these holidays too. So Ashley and Justin, we were talking about the Swan incident today.
I knew it.
I
knew that was coming
They're
up.
probably watching. He said, hold on. He said, Ashley said, I'm not sure how your father would react if he remember that we, of course, remember the Swan or the drum incidents very clearly. And now that enough time has passed, we can laugh at them. They are some of the highlights of our days at great grandpas and our grandmothers. Both stories were legendary for different reasons, but they both had your father telling us and Anthony not to do something, and we did it anyway. However, we didn't intentionally try to break the Swan. Whatever because they were playing baseball in the basement, okay, and they had hit. He said whatever projectile, and it was a baseball. It wasn't a hard ball either; it was a squishy one. Whatever projectile caused the Swan to fall and break reminded me of that last shot in Happy Gilmore before it eventually found its target. We could have done that 100 more times, and the Swan would still be around today. It was Isn't
it weird how things happen?
For those of you guys at home, tell everybody it was a big wooden swan.
It still exists. I put it back together.
Like the leg lamp in the Christmas Story.
I glued it back together.
We're going to have to take a picture of this.
It still exists. It's in the upstairs room at Grandma's house. It's still there.
That's amazing.
Take a picture because people are going to want to see it.
I will. I don't have it here, but it exists.
That's
It
amazing.
has gone with me to 7, 8 different residents from then.
Yeah.
I've always had it with me. It was a solid piece of wood. It was from Sophisticated Swan. It was carved. And then what was the other one about the drums?
I don't. I should have asked Ashley to tell me.
The drum one, I don't know.
I think I know.
Was that the same Christmas that Rosie ate candy?
Oh no!
Candy's cold.
Oh no! Okay. Okay. Okay.
I think you're right.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. But in our family, it wasn't this demure. There's something I have to tell you.
That was us. We reported it.
There was screaming.
Okay. So for everybody, this is what happened. I think it was a Christmas or a Thanksgiving or something. And the dog, the Cocker Spaniel, Rosie, was kept upstairs in one of the bedrooms. And that's where a lot of people were keeping their coats that day. My aunt had a long, very expensive white leather trench coat that was up there. And at some point of the night, Rosie started gnawing on this leather coat and was destroying it. And we stumbled upon it. The kids stumbled upon it happening like when it was already way too late. And we started.
What did you do?
We had to come. We ran down the stairs. Ran down the hall screaming that Rosie's got the Candy's coat, and this was scary for me. It was a little scary for me because I was really young. It was unnerving because it was the first time I saw a woman cry to the point that her mascara ran
over her coat.
Candy's mascara was running all streaking down her face, and I didn't know what the hell was happening to her. I thought it was blood. I thought she was crying blood. I didn't know what was happening. So
like Jesus, and then we found out that it was blood. She was crying the blood of our family.
I'm telling you that
the screaming was just beyond description.
Beyond belief.
It was beyond description. I didn't know what the heck happened.
And it was like, it wasn't like it happened, but like I think Grandma was saying, don't worry, whatever I have to do to pay. It was like someone's leg was gnawed off.
But it's just one of those things.
That was a code. No matter what we do, we did this all our lives with different things. When I thought I was losing my hair because I put in Afro-American, they called it food.
Beeswax?
I put in this stuff because I wanted my hair to look fuller, and my hair was all plastered. I was crying because I was afraid my hair was going to pull out of my head because I couldn't get this goop out. I use Afro Sheen or something. I figured, well, Afro-American people have beautiful heads of hair. If I put Afro Sheen and my hair was all flattened, Grandma outside the bathroom door was screaming, "Don't worry, I'll mortgage the house if I have to."
For what?
Just for my hair needs to be washed out.
Replaced. I'll replace your hair.
I'll mortgage this house.
See. Okay, what do you guys? I mean, that's one big catastrophe that happened at it. But what do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite holiday meltdown? I know some of them can be traumatizing, especially for. And I was talking about. We were talking about this today because I keep up with Ashley and Justin, and we talk a lot, and I want to start getting things together a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But some things sometimes when holidays go awry and people just stop talking, that sucks for the kids. Because
it sucked for us too.
All of a sudden, we didn't know where our cousins were for years and years, and it was just
it happened for us. We were totally. I know it's influenced our lives. I know it. I know it's influenced my life.
Well, you were terrified. You didn't want to have any negative thing break out on a holiday, and when it did, very upsetting.
And you knew this was not just for the night.
That's right.
It could go on for months or years.
We were talking about the pettiness today. Well, I thought it was hilarious. Some of it is hilarious because the years have gone by, whatever. But things like where people sit at weddings, or how much leftovers were taken home after who took what leftovers home and they shouldn't have taken that. Whatever. Who cancels? Who doesn't show up? Grandma didn't. I remember her not coming out of her room one Sunday afternoon because the rigatoni lines were diagonal and not straight.
Exactly.
So I mean, there's it's
good reason.
The pettiness,
I would think.
Good reason.
If you didn't bring home the polio pot cheese, that was it.
Wait a minute.
Happy Mother's Day. And in the room, the doors.
Anthony,
of how ridiculous.
Can you please tell one of my favorite stories when the corsages for Connie's weddings were delivered?
Yeah.
Cousin Connie's wedding. Go ahead.
Here was, and this has influenced my life through my life because my mother put together the whole wedding. She had walking sticks like you'd see in the Old West. Grandma in the middle of the night saw this old Western with the little tiny hats on their heads and the walking sticks. So she said, let's do walking sticks. This was 1970. Umpire waist, Western looking puffy sleeve dresses for all of the bridesmaids. She told the florist she wanted fuchsia. She wanted fuchsia flowers on the sticks. This poor man that came in, the florist, he put all these flowers around these walking sticks like corsages. He opened them up on the table at Grandma Mirando's house that morning of the wedding. See? These aren't fuchsia. They're maroon.
And then the line.
They're maroon.
And then the line.
That's it.
What is
the
it?
whole wedding's ruined. The whole wedding's ruined because of you. I gave it specific instructions.
This poor man. Did he cry?
Was horrified. And everybody was trying to appease her. And of course, I was, I think, 16, still under the influence of the horror of my family and thinking, oh my God, why didn't he do the flowers the right way? thinking that, what are you doing? Even if they're not right, they were beautiful, by the way. They were beautiful.
And they were still used, obviously. You can't.
They had to.
Yeah. But did they match? They didn't match the dresses, though.
The dresses were white.
Oh, okay.
The things were white. The hats were white. There was tulle that went around the
But
hat.
she wanted fuchsia.
That was fuchsia. She wanted it to be exactly. What the hell is this? These are not fuchsia, they're maroon.
Growling.
But they did this also with any colors. My mother and also Jeffrey's mother, they only wore their couches, their cars, everything was cream.
Absolutely.
Cream. If you brought the wrong shade of cream in, that's not cream, it's brown. That's brown. That's baby diarrhea brown. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell. This is what, there was no in between.
That's true.
There was no in between. And I've always heard with weddings, people calling up after, I got it from mine bill. They called up and said, do you mind if, I think it was Marley. Do you mind if I wear white? What, are you kidding me? It's required in my family. People, I've always heard, you don't wear white to weddings. That's all we wore. We didn't give a shit about the bride. Everybody wore white. Everybody.
Well, at least everybody did. That's pretty good. I could be down with that.
It's unbelievable.
The entire wedding is not going to show up the bride. It's just whatever.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah.
There was the fight over the Fox stoles.
Yeah.
What's that, Jeff?
My sister Debbie just texted me a recollection she wants to share. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
Jeff, we should mention the time that I called an April Fool's joke to Grandma and Grandpa's house.
Yes.
That the house was on fire.
She should call in.
And I hung up before I was able to say April Fools, and everyone ran out of Grandma and Grandpa's.
In their underwear.
That's right. Across the driveway.
Everybody was outside running around in their underwear. We had cousins come from Italy. They were all outside running around in their underwear. The people were screaming, bumping into each other.
Because they thought Debbie was in a house that was on fire. The house across the driveway.
I heard this story before.
And she was a April Fool's joke, but she didn't get a chance to say April Fool's.
Man, that's one hell of a joke. I'll tell you.
But everything was this way. We got blamed. Once Debbie, I don't know what happened. She got into a small accident. It was an accident. So they called up Grandma and what happened? Oh my God, no, Debbie's in an accident. And I'm going, what happened? Shut up! I got beat up because she was in an accident. Because I was asking how it should. Get away!
Who, Grandma?
My grandmother. My mother. I broke a window with a baseball in the garage. I came in and I said, you always told me to tell the truth. So I'm telling you, I broke the window in the garage with a baseball. You son of a bitch! I went out of her.
Oh my gosh.
No, there were so many things today that me and Jeffrey got locked in the side porch. Candy locked us in the side porch. That will go down in history.
We got locked in the side porch at his mother's house. Him, myself, Anthony, myself, his sister Candy, and Aunt Mary.
And Scotty.
And my little brother Scott. And Aunt Mary was cooking stuff in the kitchen, and she had cooking stuff going on in the kitchen.
And
she
Candy
was afraid.
was out there. She locked us in.
And what we had to do was we had to lift my little brother up out somehow we got the screen windows disattached. But
by
Aunt
his
Mary
feet.
was hysterical, screaming out the window for the neighbors.
The thing was, the minute we realized the predicament we were in, me and Jeffrey lost it. We were so hysterical from laughing to picture Aunt Mary. What do you mean? Candy! Open the door! Is this? And she was hitting.
She was hitting us with a wiffle ball bat because we were hysterical from laughing.
This is serious.
Because she was screaming out the window trying to get the attention of the neighbors, and we
And
heard
she
her
starts
screaming, and we
screaming
broke into
all the
hysterics.
I wish I could. I wish I could hear. I wish I could be outside the house hearing her screaming out the
You
window.
have no idea.
They heard her in Hartford,
Mary
Connecticut.
Beth! That's how she was screaming. And when a police car went by, when Scotty was being lowered out of the window, and they thought it was a burglary. Candy's inside like this. She wouldn't open the door for us, but we didn't care because we couldn't stop.
We couldn't stop. It
laughing.
was just the way my Aunt Mary reacted was hysterical, and we couldn't breathe. We were laughing so
Because
hard.
Aunt Mary, we waited for her reactions. We waited to see her get mad. It was our whole life. She was Sylvia Sidney. She was Betty Davis. She was every actress from the 30s and 40s.
You know, that's funny because a lot of I was,
Are you getting any reaction for what we're talking about?
I haven't, I peeked in on the chat room a couple of times. People were having a great time, but I haven't been watching. I've just been soaking this up. And I'm glad you said that about getting mad because I think the next generation, especially when it was like me, Anthony, Justin, and Ashley, Amanda to a degree, whatever the hell it was, trying to get our parents pissed off it became a sport for us as well.
Yes.
And, especially with you too.
Me.
Yeah. Because you were all bark, no bite. And so every time we said, maybe we can get them to bark louder, so it was one of those things that got.
And then I would say weird things you've told me.
Oh God. I mean, I don't even know what the memories would come in waves, but it was just incredible. It didn't matter what the hell it was. Usually when it's just, you get to the point where you're so angry, the things that are coming out of your mouth that don't even make sense sometimes, or that's the best. That's when you know you're really in the sweet spot with the anger. But I was talking about that today too, just because it's there is a theatrical part of the whole thing that just lives on forever. And I remember even one year I was thinking about this, Jeff, even at Aunt Joni's funeral. I was thinking about, because when everybody was going up and doing the eulogies, I said to myself, I was in the church, I said, what story would I tell if I got to go up there and say a little something? The first thing that popped in my mind was that I found out what mooning somebody was because of your mother, because of Aunt Joni. Now, she didn't moon anybody, but what happened was Justin, it was at the end of like a Thanksgiving or something, and Justin said like he locked his jaw out, or he pretended that his jaw was locked, and everybody started getting crazy. His jaw's locked, and I can see that he's having fun with everybody. And his mouth is open. He's like, I can't close my mouth. He's like, and everybody's screaming, and they're like, oh, his jaw's locked. And that's what your mother went up to Justin, started shaking him, says, you close your mouth or I'll moon you. I swear to God. And I started thinking about that. In the church, I'm thinking about her threatening Justin that she's going to moon him. And then, of course, that was one of those, Debbie, that year. I think that was one of those years where, it was hard to get the kids to get out of the house and leave. And they were Ashley and Justin were giving her a problem. And it became almost like I expected it at some point every year at one of these gatherings or something for somebody to say, well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you next year. We're like the Thanksgiving, it's it. You're not going to see. I'm not coming back, or something like that.
Yeah.
And usually, when it's in jest, and other times it was a lot more serious. But
the thing also, I have to say, we used to always say this: There were always family emergencies. And in our family, you immediately went to the emergency room. The United Hospital in Portchester, 30 people. 30 people. Everybody went to the emergency room together. And we even said one year, we're going to do a Christmas card at United Hospital emergency room that says,
That's right.
From our house to your house.
Everybody at the
Because
emergency
we were
room.
always in the emergency room. We knew the drill. Who's going to go for the coffee, down the machine, down in the hall. It was unbelievable.
I have some stuff here. Jeff, anything you want to add to that? I have some video here from, I think this is 1983.
Let's go to the video.
Here, take a look at this. I think this is you and Debbie.
I can explain this.
Okay.
That's my sister, Debbie. Dennis Wilson, the Beach Boys drummer, had drowned a couple of days before this event, and we were dancing to a Beach Boys song as a tribute to Dennis Wilson. Now, I had a special bond with Dennis Wilson because in 1979, I was at a Beach Boys concert at Radio City Music Hall, and I was 2 rows from the front, and at one point, I lifted one of my friends up on my shoulders, and she was on my shoulders. They did that at Beach Boys concerts, and Dennis saw that, and he kept going like this to me and smiling at me, and he loved the way I was lifting this young lady on my shoulders and then dancing with her in the hall, in the aisles. So when I found out, 4 years later, he had drowned, I was very, very upset. So that's what that clip was about. That was from Christmas time. 1983, that would have been.
This is another crazy thing from this particular video from 1983, because I think that your sister filmed the whole thing, and I think it's the only really great interview with great grandma and great grandpa. I don't know if you guys have watched it recently, but if you haven't, you really should. I mean, because there's such great origin stories here about everything. Like here's a little bit of
Yep, I remember.
Only because my living memory of great grandma and great grandpa was not very clear.
And they were very sick at that point.
And they were incapacitated. They couldn't communicate very well. But this was I've never seen them like this before. I saw this. Like,
I was born in Calabria.
You still have relatives there?
Yeah, Johnny went over there.
Yeah? How many relatives you have there? Who's there?
Oh, I got 4 or 5 cousins, 3 aunts, and second cousins, third cousins.
This is everybody who's still alive in Italy at the time.
Yeah.
They were here.
Yeah.
Aunts.
And my daughter Johnny went over there.
Ah.
How old was he?
What made you want to be a carpenter?
Hey, wouldn't it be 83?
If it was,
I think this is 1983. He was born in 1900. I think this is
you're
Christmas
right.
of
He couldn't
1983.
have had aunts that were alive.
Well, maybe that's who we left behind.
Maybe because he was 83 here.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I went to work on the boiler works.
Yeah.
And over there when I was a mechanic. So I wasn't a mechanic. They gave me a job as a mechanic, but it wasn't the kind of job that I wanted. I wanted more of a millwright job. They gave me some kind of tools I couldn't even use.
He talks about him how he met great grandma too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some game with throwing a knife into the ground or something like that. Strange.
She said she met him at church.
No. Oh, hold on, wait a second. We gotta get this.
I've been in business ever since 1922. They gave me
Wait.
millwright, get all different kind of work.
That's coming up right here.
Work and a carpenter. I got a job as a carpenter.
Wait.
After 1 month,
Look her, she's eating.
And I've been in business ever since 1922.
Yep.
Oh. Where did you start?
Ah.
Portchester?
It's wait.
How did you meet Grandma?
Here you go. Listen.
Grandma pulling the peg with a knife up the corner.
Pulling the peg with a knife up on the corner. Listen.
Foxhole Road.
She was pulling what?
We have a knife.
Yeah.
We pull the peg, turn it, let it stick in the dough.
Yeah.
See? And she kept up watching the game.
Yeah.
And, I used to go with another girl. So finally I met a date with her and I go with her.
So he was going with another girl.
Oh my!
And up the street, they were playing some kind of a game with throwing a knife in the ground, and she was in attendance and liked watching them play, and he jumped ship on whoever the other broad was for great grandma.
He also was in Fatima when the miracle of Our Lady of Fatima.
He was in the Navy?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Why was he?
Oh, yeah.
So was he stationed in Portugal at the time? What happened?
He was 17 years old. He lied about his age. He was in Portugal. He saw the sun get massive like it was going to fall out of the sky. He was there.
You know, that's a generational
when-
blessing. That's one of those generational blessings. That passes down.
That's an interesting thought. He was there for Fatima.
See, I love these. I mean, I'm telling you, if you haven't watched this, I think 1983 and 1993 are some of the best footage that we have. Here's one, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, this is something that I play every October, especially around the time of the World Series. Okay. Now, this was at the Halloween party in 1996, the night that the Yankees won the World Series. Now, first thing I'm going to play is actually the last out. I played it on the show at least 2 or 3 times over the last 5 years. So here's the last out of the World Series. Just, I don't know, it's like a minute before. Here we go. We're all in the living room together.
There you go, look at this.
Oh my God.
Oh, he just missed it! He just missed it! Oh, maybe he didn't. No, he missed it.
What?
Nothing.
What's going on? I can't take this.
Oh, Marie.
Did you see that guy almost fell down?
Oh,
You should have had that!
Now what happened? You should have had that.
there's Jeff.
The guy almost fell down. It's a twister! It's a twister!
That's me. Now, Jeff, Scotty was at the game that night?
He was. That was Game 6 of the 1996 World Series.
Wow.
Between the Yankees and the Atlanta Braves. Yeah.
Somebody comments on it. You comment on it in the room. Anyway, here we go. There's mom screaming.
What happened?
It's just one more strike to go.
Okay, move out of the way. Move out of the way. Get out of the way. Frank, get out of the way. Everybody get out of the way.
What's up? The dead was downstairs.
I think
Oh
I
my God, you've never seen a New Year's Eve like that before.
New Year's
You
Eve?
can't believe what's going on up there.
So now listen, it goes on for a little while longer, but then something else happened later on the night. And Jeff, I'm pretty sure that you have never seen this ever.
Really?
I'm sure you've never seen this ever. Now I wonder if you remember.
Mike Sabatino's girlfriend with her eyes open.
Probably. What the hell does that mean? What?
Nothing.
Okay. About 20 minutes later, when everybody, we're still high from the adrenaline of the Yankees winning. We're all in the living room still. You looked at me, my mom, Anthony, anybody else, and you said, well, there's only one thing left to say. And then you let out this blood-curdling scream. Okay?
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, well, you will. Because that was our perspective of the scream. But what was happening outside was my father was filming a little, Transylvania Halloween, skit on the front lawn among all of the decorations, and listen to the timing of what happened inside of the house.
Oh my God.
Oh, this lives on forever in my mind.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, no. Whoa. I almost screwed it up by not having it on the screen. Whew. Don't want that to happen. All right, take a listen to this.
You have to just look through there. Hi. How are you? Welcome to my villa here in Transylvania. That's my sister.
Perfect. You would think that it was planned.
That is amazing.
You would think it was planned. Okay? You would think that. Hold on, I'm going to play it again because
that was great.
It's
Who's sitting on the bench?
It's you.
Are you kidding?
That's you on the bench.
Who's shooting it?
I don't know. You gave it to somebody. You said here, and you sat right on the bench on the front. Listen to it one more time.
Great. On. So you have to just look through there.
So we're inside, and Jeff says, "Well, there's only one thing left to say." And
hi, how are you? Welcome to my villa here in Transylvania.
That is amazing.
That's crazy good.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm really happy about
that. Is amazing.
I know sometimes things just work out beautifully. I don't know. There's so much. Oh, there's just so much.
Add a quick sports note. No one expected the Yankees to beat the Braves in the World Series that year because they were down 0-2, and Atlanta dominated the first 2 games, and people were saying, oh, just send the Yankees home. It's over. Well, they won 4 straight games in a tremendous comeback against one of the greatest pitching staffs in the history of baseball, the pitching staff of the Atlanta Braves. So that's one of the reasons everybody was so excited. It was so unexpected.
Crazy that they only won that Braves team only won 1 World Series.
Yeah, that was such a good team.
Just like you'd expect those Mets teams of the 80s to have ripped off 1 or 2 more too. But
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, well, I mean, there's a lot happening, and I'm just I'm glad you guys came by. I don't. Is there anything else you think needs to be brought up? Or I wanted to talk a little bit about music. I obviously want this to happen again, so I look at this as like a kind of like a foundational episode, so we can go and add more to it as time goes on. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. What do you guys? I can go and see if anybody has any calls.
Why don't you see if there's any calls?
All right, listen here. Well, here's what we're going to do. 914-200-0269. We'll leave the lines open for a little bit, and you call in, ask a question, whatever the hell you want, and we'll just see what happens. Jay Britz says, "Great show with the family, Frank. Cheers to another Jeff born in 1960. He's got to be an awesome guy." Oh, so I guess Jeff over here was born in 1960. That was just super chatted. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you, sir. Let me see over on quitefrankly.tv. Let's see what people have over here, because there's a few things coming in. I love Daddy Valbiro, says Mickey. Sean Joe says hello. Thank you, Sean Joe. Okie7. Amethyst Cat says Frank. Let's see here. Lock Eden in the chat room thinks that they found your dad's radio commercial. Hold on.
Really?
Hold on. Let me see.
They found the New Year's Eve radio commercial from.
Are you kidding?
Oh,
wow.
Oh,
they couldn't find that. It's.
I will freak out.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh no.
Hold on.
If you had a friend who was a king,
Jeffrey,
what kind of a gift would you give him? Well, there are many people of prominence who have been thrilled to receive this.
Is this it?
Zenith's famous 9-band transoceanic, the world's most exciting radio. Powered to tune in the world. You'll find every Zenith radio, from the famous transoceanic to the tiniest pocket transistor, is built in the Zenith quality tradition, including super-sensitive FM/AM radios, handsome table and clock radios, and powerful solid-state portables. Over 100 radios to choose from, priced to fit every gift budget. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. If you're buying a radio for a king, a friend, or for yourself, why not get the best?
Do you remember that? Is that it?
I remember that commercial, but that's not the commercial. That's not the commercial we were speaking of.
Okay, so this happened only one time only during the New Year's Eve presentation?
Yes.
And
about 2 minutes before 69 turned into 70. Yeah.
And Guy Lombardo was part of it.
We don't even know. It was a separate thing where it was a lead up with showing a build up of going into the future, ending with 1969 to 70, which showed all these different radios. But it could have been something that they put together on the network.
Okay, let me see here. Tommy Jackal. Tommy Jackal says the content in this sort of reminiscence is priceless, Frank. Thank you for including me in. Well, Tommy, thank you for being here. Is this the real life? Says, did you know that Jerry Terranova? Did you know Jerry Terranova? He was in Portchester. I'm a Terranova. Not his relative, but a Facebook friend. He's since passed, but totally Portchester. Jerry Terranova? Jerry Terranova.
Terranova?
Terranova.
I don't know. It's very possible, but the name doesn't ring a bell.
Jay Semo says, I dialed in late. Here's to you guys. I'll catch up tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. Esther G says, Buonasera, Frank and Familia. Your family's memories are simply the best. Family goals, love, and hugs. And then Jay Semo says, hilarious. Hey, you know what? It's just I knew that this was going to be the kind of night. And this, Anthony, what about you? I know that you've just been sitting back and enjoying it.
I've just been soaking it all in.
Is there anything?
Really not much.
Anything that anything you wanted to ask? Is there anything that you ever wanted some more context for, that you were around for, but obviously as a child you just never had, I don't know, any context? That's something that I realized.
Nothing that comes to mind now. I'll probably come to mind like sometime in the future.
Well, let's take a call from Margie. Margie, you there?
Hi, yeah. I just love this show tonight. You guys are fabulous on it. Loving it to pieces.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're here. What do you remember any of the cultural reminiscence or anything like that?
Oh God, yes. But that commercial, that's the only one I could find that played in 1969. Okay, but I found out that New Year's Eve show that year was syndicated. So that would have been different areas had different commercials, right?
Yeah.
Let me see here.
It wasn't a network show that year.
I'm finding New Year's Eve show 1969. A lot more things popping up over here. And I have Times Square ball drop extended.
Yeah.
That's nearly 4 minutes long. If you say that it happened within like 2 minutes before midnight, we should take a look at this next. We could do that.
I looked at all of those.
If you type in WABC commercial New Year's Eve 1969, maybe that'll come up.
Well, it sounds like Margie was pretty.
I did that.
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
And they weren't that. It was, I think, Coca-Cola and one other thing were the
It was a big thing because
sponsors.
From 69 to 70,
yeah,
that decade of the 60s ending.
Greek mythology.
Oops.
Was
But
massive.
it was so much fun, though. You guys crack me up. All I can think of is how much the neighbors must have loved you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, they waited. They knew we were notorious. Let's put it that way.
Anthony's house was a focal point of that era. Anthony's mom's house and his dad's house. It was a focal point of that era. There's no question about it.
All those Italians living across the street. Yep.
Well, we saw many changes and things I can't even talk about that on the block of interesting personalities moving in. Many people I can't even mention who were very famous and interesting situations that I even got into. But the block was like anything. Any given night in 1968 during the summer was like being in a scene from the Valley of the Dolls. The pool
God.
lights.
I love the way you talk. I know all of the references.
The pool lights in the backyard, the sound of the crickets, people going night swimming, the splash of the water, the coffee coming out. And the music, the constant music. Then the radio was on constantly. We knew every word to every song.
Absolutely.
Everything.
You see, I don't know. Yeah, and Margie, thank you for the call and thank you for the research tonight. They really.
Thank you,
did a lot.
Margie.
Thank you.
Okay, love you guys.
Love you
Thank
too.
you.
Yeah,
Love you.
we'll do. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll do more. I'm telling you, we got to do more of these specials every once in a while. We have to. Again, going back to what we were saying before with there was no music videos. The music video was we attached permanent remembrances from life to these
Why don't
things.
we do this? Could be interesting. Throw songs at each other. I know what I'm going to say to Jeffrey when a man loves a woman.
Anthony said that was the definitive 60s soul love song. And I agree with him. Absolutely a brilliant song.
Brilliant song, which also said some pretty dastardly things.
Ridiculous things.
For men to do.
Yes.
When a man loves a woman, he'll go out and sleep in the rain if she says that's the way it ought to be.
Yeah. Actually, even Mom warned me against women like that when I was when that would come on, the WCBS FM, Cousin Brucey. When that would come on, she'd say, "Any girl ever tells you to do that, you leave her right away." So she.
Well, yeah. I mean, the song tells you to leave all your friends behind. It tells you to just forget everything. Like one of our cousins once said to me, "You know, when you're married now, you're not going to see anybody. It's going to be great. You'll see nobody. Nobody will be around. Just be you and your wife. You'll see. Nobody. You'll just be just you. That's it. No more.
It'll be great.
Be great. Be great."
I have a song I'd like to throw out to Anthony.
Go ahead.
A summer song by Chad and Jeremy.
Oh my God.
1964.
Wait a second.
A summer song by Chad and Jeremy. Wonderful things that were going to happen.
Exactly.
Everything was going to be okay.
I have years that I felt that way too, and I don't know if it's the same. I guess in a couple of decades, we'll be able to talk to new generations about whether they ever felt that in their childhood at any given point. But definitely growing up in the 90s prior to 9/11, and how the entire world started changing after that. That was really the 90s were that. I'm very lucky to have.
I get what you're saying.
I'm very lucky in that respect. And and speaking of the 90s, here's one for you, Jeff. What about you in books? Is there any? Do you have a favorite summertime book?
Marty on Campus.
Frank, I don't think I do. I don't think nothing is jumping out at me.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I read Carrie in the summer.
Oh, that was a scary book.
And remember Lady? The book Lady by Tom Tryon that I loved so much, and I read that. But you see, for me, I don't know about Jeffrey, and I know he's an avid reader too. I would read 40 books a summer. 40 easily. And I'm talking about from Judy Garland to Ginger Rogers to
a lot of biographies.
A lot of biographies, but also I read The Fountainhead during the summer. I all of Stephen King's books during the summer.
Yeah,
on the pool deck, right?
On the pool deck.
On the pool deck, yep.
Well, the pool deck is everywhere now. This show's become my pool deck.
The pool deck is everywhere. That's interesting.
It's gonna have to just find a place. I don't know. It's like you said before. You can't recreate it, so you have to just work on something new, and definitely have to put all of these things on the record. And next time we get together, I'll be sure to have some more time-stamped videos and everything like that, because there's just some good stuff in there. And what I'll do is next time we get together, I will set up a second line. Hold on, let's take one more call.
Okay.
Let's see here. Robert, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, man. Oh, God, great show. I had tears in my eyes so many times.
Well,
today.
I'm happy you're enjoying yourself. You're the last call of the night, so enjoy yourself.
Oh, thank you. But, talking about Judy Garland, I saw Liza Minnelli at the Circle Star Theater, and she was amazing. One of the best shows I ever seen in my life. Oh, my goodness.
What year was that, Robert?
Oh, geez, I don't know, man.
Where
Early
is the
80s, probably.
Circle Star
I
Theater?
was born in '61, so I'm a little bit younger than these two guys. But oh my gosh, you guys are amazing.
Where's
I'm
the
having
Circle
so much fun
Star?
watching this. San Bruno. I used to live in San Francisco.
Okay.
Okay.
And I grew up in a small village called San Lorenzo in the East Bay. Across the bay from San Francisco, and it was like a beautiful little place. And now, oh my God, it's just gone to shit, dude. It's like so many homeless people and everything. It's horrible. Yeah, it's sad.
You think about. I mean, there was also. I got a couple of questions that came in about the Capitol Theater and what shows you guys might have gone
God.
to there. But it's just another example how there's so many of these little spots all over the country that have such incredible stories to tell that are in such disrepair and I'd love to collect more of those over time. But I'm happy you enjoyed yourself here tonight, Robert.
The Circle Star Theater had a stage that was round, and it would spin around, and the band would turn around. Yeah, so it was really a circle. It was amazing. For Liza Minnelli, oh my goodness, oh geez,
she's awesome.
And the show
no
was
question.
crazy. Eddie DeBartolo, the owner of the San Francisco 49ers at the time, was there. And after the show, we were leaving, and he tried to pick up on my wife. oh my God!
And this was what you had to be back in the 80s.
This happened in the 80s. I was born in '61, so
I bet it could have been it could even have been the 70s.
Yeah,
late 70s, early 80s.
Unless he got married really young, though.
Late 80s. No, I got married at 25.
Okay, so it had to be the 80s.
Yeah.
It might have just been around when I was born, but that's just hey, I got to see Liza Minnelli.
Yes,
at the Palace.
Yeah. At the Palace.
Yeah. Well, when was that? 2000.
You saw one of her final performances, if not her final performance, in
New
that
York.
kind of setting, and she was amazing.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
We were up. That was in. You said 2008. Okay.
Thank you, Frank. Love you guys.
Well,
man, you two brothers look almost exactly alike. You guys could be twins. It's crazy.
Who?
But you're both adorable. Such a great show.
Well, thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, my man. And I'll talk to you soon. And it's always good to know that people like you are out there hanging with us.
Oh, my God. And book club. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Rick, I was reading the book today. Oh, my gosh.
I'm looking forward to it. Listen, I'll see you Monday night. That'll be a good one.
For sure. Thank you, Frank.
All right.
Love you guys.
Take care. Yeah, Dad, I know that you know that last March we read The Robe, and I didn't touch Grandpa's version of The Robe just because I have to mark it up, and I didn't read it either. But I bought extra copies so I can read those and mark it up and whatever. But we had such a great time with that book. It's so incredible, and even to the point where it's hard for me to watch the movie now. The movie is not good compared to the book.
I bet.
But anyway, we liked it so much, we found out that there was a sequel to it, which is actually a prequel called The Big Fisherman. And we're reading that this month for our book club.
Interesting. That's great.
And we also introduced, which I think you guys would like, this year we introduced for my show, we have some culture clubs that we're building up. And this year in February was our first ever film club. We did Interstellar in February, but in April we're doing Rear Window, Alfred Hitchcock.
Wow!
So if you guys ever wanted to jump in on a film club session, that's just one and done. Maybe we should do that one day.
We should.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rear Window to me, it was made in 1954, so it's the year that I was born, and Rear Window to me is somehow looking into those windows, seeing those apartment buildings, the clothes. I feel like it's where my grandmother's house was. I don't know why. There's something about it that brings me right back to that era.
Well,
it's a little hits of everything in those windows.
Well, there's also a lot of that going on down in Foxhole as well. The two big buildings. There's a lot of windows, a lot of things going on there too. But do you remember in Universal Studios? They actually had, when you go into when we went into Universal Studios in the 90s, they had a special effects studio that you can go into, and you can take this tour. And for example, they would allow you to get onto a gigantic bee in front of a blue screen to show how
sort of remember
Honey, I
that.
Shrunk the Kids was made.
Yeah.
But also, as you walk through the studio, Mom, do you remember this when you walk through the studio and you see the big? It was a recreation of the apartment of the courtyard in the rear window, where it was just a big brick wall with all of the apartment windows, and there's things going on in each window, and it was awesome. They recreated it.
If I'm not mistaken, that was built. They were really, that wasn't, obviously this was 54, so they didn't have the ability to just do AI or whatever you want to call it. And it was all built. That whole thing was built.
Let me see
for
here.
the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me see if they have this on. Alfred
Raymond
Hitchcock,
Burr scared the shit out of me in that movie.
Universal Studios tour, rear windows, just before we leave, just to see if it's in there. Because I feel like it was, I don't know. I can't find it. It was really, I really enjoyed
Near
that.
the torch of the Statue of Liberty, right?
Something like that. I'm just remembering it in dribs and drabs at this point. But oh yeah. Here's just the torch of the Statue of Liberty. Like for example, hold on, there. I don't know what this is. This is micechat.com. So
what's that?
So here's the torch of the Statue of Liberty. But you got to talk into the microphone, Mom. All right, and then you go down. Where is it? There's this. There's one of the sets. There's one of the sets.
Yeah.
And they had it all. Things are going on. Those are all actual television screens in each one of those.
Interesting.
Those windows, and I always loved walking through that, and I knew the reference, but I can't wait to watch it now to actually analyze it for its Hitchcock and suspense. That's going to be great. But anyway, Jeff, thank you so much for being here tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
And for anybody that wants to listen to your podcast, you only talk real estate. Do you do any sports or anything like that? Because you should definitely do something like that. I wish you guys would do something together.
When I was at WVOX, I did sports. I was the fill-in host for the morning show. I did a little music fill-in for the music show, but WVOX was sold and it no longer exists. So at the current time, the podcast is what we're focusing on. Again, building knowledge with the Building and Realty Institute, available on Apple and Spotify, covers issues of interest of the building, realty, and construction industries, sponsored by the Building and Realty Institute.
Well, I hope that people go and check it out. And then and we'll definitely put another one of these on the books. Hopefully, we got to do a summertime show.
Yeah,
let's do that.
We
Yeah,
should do a summer one.
Well, we should do like I told Anthony and Mike, we should do a spring, summer, winter, and fall show. I mean, it's like one show every 3 months. Why the hell not? To get a hit of the seasons, or at least 2 shows a year. I don't know.
The things that happen in the summer of '69
Whoa.
alone.
All right.
Alone. And within a couple of months, Judy Garland died. There was the Manson murders. We were robbed at Grandma's house.
Woodstock.
Woodstock. It goes on and on.
Grandpa got lost in Washington,
Grandpa
D.C.
got lost
He
in-
decided to climb the Washington Memorial by himself.
By himself. And we couldn't find him.
What?
And then also we crashed into Jeffrey's mother's wall because we were out driving around when they were landing on the moon.
Oh, yes. That's something else.
Your cousins put the car in reverse and smashed the wall on the road. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Because we didn't care about them landing on the moon. We were driving around. We were bored.
You know what? Mom was the same way. I asked her, what did you do when the moon landing broadcast was going on?
Everybody was waiting for them to land on the moon, and I went over my friend's house that lived on the street, Irene, because A Child Is Waiting was on.
Oh.
And I wanted to watch that, and my mother said no.
What is A Child Is Waiting?
Judy Garland movie.
Movie with Judy Garland that she's teaching, not retarded. They don't use that word anymore.
She's retarded.
No, she was teaching special needs kids
Right.
how to sing up in the sky, sky, sky. So
I haven't thought of that. Long time. Wow.
With Burt Lancaster. Valley of the Dolls came out in 19. There are so many things in that summer alone of 69 that went on.
All right, we got to talk about that because I need to know about the great grandpa stories.
Oh my God, he was lost in Washington D.C. Imagine great grandma. Whoa.
Well, here's the thing that it's very easy to lose these days. Like for example, 1996, we were just watching the night that the Yankees won.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just called me, but I couldn't hear them. There was too much noise. And somebody said, "Is it Scotty? Scotty's at the game, and or is it Scotty? Maybe it's Scotty calling." And that's when Jeff said, "How is it be Scotty calling? He's at the game. How's he going to call me?" And now, I mean, you can FaceTime somebody from the game.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Your face can show up from the game.
That time in Washington.
So Washington, if you're lost in Washington D.C., I mean,
well, that was an iffy thing because I was going with them to Washington. It was all Jeffrey's family.
Don't tell us now. Don't tell us the whole thing now.
All right.
Because if this would be a great summertime show.
It's worth tuning in to the show to hear the story about Washington, D.C.
Oh, my God.
It's worth it, believe me.
All righty. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. This is a good one.
Thanks, Frank.
Ant, thanks for hanging out, too.
Sweet Talking Guy. Put on
night.
Sweet Talking Guy for the spring.
Sweet Talking Guy for the spring? For right now?
Yes.
Hold on.
That's how you should go out.
Here, hold on. The chiffons?